Brian. He's Jeff. I'm Denny. We're back for another week.
And we know sports. We're going to start this off talking about
Last week's games. We all picked a game from last week that we all want to talk about. So we'll start off with the New Orleans Saints and the Las Vegas Raiders. The New Orleans Saints beat the Raiders 24-0. Brian, what'd you think of that?
I think we're finding out that McDaniels isn't a head coach. We found that out in Denver. Thought it might be just a slight stint. Maybe he wasn't ready. I'm thinking he's just an offensive coordinator. And he doesn't know how to actually manage a full team and put together a game plan because he's got the weapons. He picked up Devontae Adams. Carr actually got pinched for a little bit and then brought back in. They're in shambles. What is wrong with the Raiders?
I don't know. Josh Jacobs is near the top of the league in rushing too, and they got a great defense, but that's just not a good football team.
there's no reason that they don't have more wins.
No.
There's no reason. With the weapons they have, the defense they have, they should have won some of these close games, and they sure should get beat 24-0 by the Saints.
Yeah.
I mean,
Although Alvin Kamara came back and had a huge game with 3 touchdowns, that guy's hard to bring down.
but getting shut out.
Yeah, they should never have
You
shut
say
out.
McDaniels is an offensive coordinator. They got shut out.
Yes.
Head coach, offensive coordinator, I don't care which one he is. They got shut out.
He's supposed to be one of the most offensive-minded guys in the NFL, one of the most sought-after guys for offense.
Absolutely.
And we're finding out that's not the case when it comes to running a team. So
They looked in shambles. A team that I thought, gosh, as tough as that division is, they might have a chance at winning that. I mean, they really got no chance. Really
Not
got
now.
no chance.
Halfway through the year,
Yeah.
they're done.
That is funny. As tough as that division looked at the beginning of the year, it really doesn't look that tough now. It's pretty much Kansas City's division.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure. The Chargers, they're only one
Chargers
game back,
are so.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they Chargers just haven't looked that great though, and
they're
they
kind
got
of
some
in the
tough
same
games
boat as the
coming out.
Raiders. They're kind of in the same boat as the Raiders. They have all these weapons, but they can't put it together.
Yeah.
Staley's coaching for his job right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
The Chargers fan base is done with this
Mediocre.
mediocrity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too.
With
I'm still
Herbert-
calling the San Diego Chargers. I don't care.
with Herbert and all the weapons that the Chargers have, they have no business being just better than the Raiders.
Yeah, yeah. With Eckler and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams
And a decent defense.
and a decent defense.
I
Some
mean,
very good players on defense.
Absolutely. With the players they have, that should be a better defense.
Yep, for sure.
Sure.
All right, well, let's move on to the next week. We got the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. New England won 22-17. Jeff, what do you think about that?
I think Belichick's showing that he's not done yet. He's a good coach, and even with a bad team, he finds ways to win. New England does what they do best. When you go up against somebody, he takes their best thing that they do away from them. May it be run the ball, throw the ball, a wide receiver. He negates that and then makes them beat them with other people.
Being one-dimensional, yeah.
Yeah.
They, I think pretty much everybody around thought that the Jets would come out and put a beat down on New England, but yeah, Jeff's right. I mean, Belichick seems to be able to get that turned around just when he needs to.
I think we're finding out the Jets aren't quite there. That's what when they're playing the big teams, and if we look back, every game that they played, somebody was missing their main player.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
are the Jets as
It's
good
a-
as what we thought they were?
It's a makeshift record.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They have a better record than what they're
But they probably
what they should have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They caught people on the right week.
Sure. For sure.
With all that being said, I still think the Jets have a good shot at making the playoffs. They have a couple of easy games coming up again, and they should be right there in the thick of it when the season ends.
That said, New England's in the same boat. At the end of the year, they're playing for a wild card spot because the Bills are going to win that division. But they can put enough wins together to pull
Yeah.
a spot.
Don't count Miami out yet.
Yeah, I was going to say they're probably
Count
out.
Miami out
They'd have
there.
to be the third best team in that division to
They're not
to
going
get
to be the
playoffs.
third best team. they are going to beat Miami out before it's done.
No.
Because Belichick is a better coach.
Just
No.
with Miami just picking up Bradley Chubb and then picking up Jeff
That
Wilson
defense is
Jr.
gonna be better.
Yeah, but they still got a defense that's a sieve. They still have a running back situation. I mean, they are one dimensional.
No, they have
And
two former 49ers as their running backs.
I get it.
How can you go wrong?
And they're starting to use Mostert in a good way. I mean, he's doing me great on fantasy now that they're using him. But that said, it's still not. It still doesn't overpower a good defense.
They're like the 49ers East. They got probably 6 players, I think, from the 49ers, plus the coach. I mean, they're the 49ers East.
Miami's
Well,
been in
the
the playoffs.
thing is, the NFC is better than the AFC. Therefore, second-rate players off the 49ers is probably still good enough to do very well in the AFC.
Dumb.
Not dumb. Stop.
Speaking of the 49ers, let's talk about the 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. Now, San Francisco won that game 31-14. And the first half, I thought to myself, what in the heck? The defense looked terrible. They could not really do too much. Offensively, they looked all right. But, boy, the second half, it was just like a different team came out there. You know, McCaffrey kind of showed why the 49ers got him. I mean, he had a passing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, a rushing
The
touchdown.
trifecta.
Yeah, the trifecta.
Yeah.
And he had 183 yards of total offense himself. The Rams only had 229 for their whole team.
You know, McCaffrey showed why he's a top 3 running back in the league and has been for the last 4 or 5 years. He was on a bad team. Now he's on a good team. When Samuel's come back, how much do they use him? Does his numbers fall? But his effectiveness will be higher. I mean, everyone talks about him getting injured. Samuels has a problem with injuries. Now that they're splitting some of that, I don't think injury is going to be a problem with them going forward. And defenses, I mean, if you're a defensive coordinator and you're going up against a healthy San Francisco 49ers,
Who do you?
who do you take away?
Yeah.
I mean, who do you go after?
The 49ers are going to get all their studs back on defense, too, right after the bye. They're going to get Eric Armstead back and Aziz Al-Shir. They're going to be looking tough.
They're a good defense injured.
Yeah.
Just a good all-around football team. One of the top 2 NFC teams, I would say.
It's sad to say, but not to segue into what we're going to talk about, but the NFC only has a few teams that
Yes.
are standout.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, agreed.
NFC is very, very small when it comes to
Very
contenders.
top heavy.
Contenders, it's really small.
Very top heavy.
Sure.
Yeah, totally agree.
And, I'm saying this for you as a homer, San Francisco is so happy to have the white boy.
They are happy to have the white boy.
Absolutely. I mean, it changes how everyone views their future in the next 8 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. I think he has a whole nother dimension of that team, with the catching the ball in the backfield and running the ball that I don't think that I certainly wasn't prepared for. I don't think anybody else was either.
He hits a gap and he hits it at full speed.
Yep.
And he doesn't need to run around you because he will run over a linebacker.
Yep.
I mean, McCaffrey is the real deal, and somehow they fit him inside their salary cap, and now they have, like a fantasy league can't drop players. They got more than they should.
Yeah, they had one play. It was like a 3rd and 7, and they threw the ball to him for like 3 yards, and I thought, what the heck? He's never going to get the first down. Sure enough, he juked 2 guys, run over a guy, and got the first down.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And that touchdown catch he had, that wasn't an easy catch.
No, there are not a lot of running backs in the league that can make a catch like that.
No, that was a veteran wide receiver catch.
Yep.
And he tapped his toes. I mean, that was just perfect.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. San Francisco got a new look.
I think with for McCaffrey, this is going to light a new fire under him, going to a contender and not being a bottom barrel
Absolutely.
team.
Yeah.
He's playing with a purpose now, and I think that might have been part of his injuries.
McCaffrey seeing this.
He says, and I have no reason to doubt him, that he loves playing there. He loves the team, loves the coaches, loves everything about the organization. You know, I think he's going to be a great pickup for them.
Absolutely. He loves the fact that he's going to be playing for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure.
Win or lose in the Super Bowl, he finally has a chance to compete in the big leagues.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
great
think so.
stuff.
All right, well, that ends our segment for the last week's games. We'll get into next week's games. Plus, we're gonna
Let's do our hot topic
we're
first.
gonna have a hot topic this week too.
Yes.
Something a little different for us, but we think we're ready. I think we're ready to talk about some different things this year.
So I know we started halfway through the league. We started our meet and greet, so you all got to know us. But this week is halfway through the season, and we are going to pick who are the best teams in the NFL. We're going to give our Super Bowl picks per person, and we're going to start with Brian.
All right.
Brian, where's that Homer picture?
Yeah.
I can already tell you what's going to happen here.
Absolutely. I get it out.
There we go. There we go. I got to go with the Homer pick. You know, Philly right now in the NFC, I think, is the best team in the NFC. Hurts is playing clean. He has a 105 QBR for the season. He's thrown 10 touchdowns to 2 interceptions of 1,700 yards, and he's also running the ball. The defense is taking the ball away. They're allowing little points. They got a top defense and a top offense. So all the way around, a good team. They're taking the ball away, which is helping them a lot.
To me, Hurts is still a little bit of an unknown.
Yes. If he can play this way through the whole season, definitely a Super Bowl contender.
It's not about the whole season. You know, they're getting the benefit of being a bad team last year. They have a weak schedule.
Yeah, they have an easier schedule, but come playoff time,
That's right.
I think it's going to be a little bit harder to have to go to Philadelphia and win a playoff game.
Really?
You know,
Did he?
They boost Santa
Go
Claus
over
for
with
everyone.
him.
They boost Santa
Lincoln
Claus.
Who are their wins? Who are their wins?
They beat Minnesota, which is
That
a
is
really
a good
win.
win.
That's a really good
Okay,
win.
past that?
They beat Detroit when their offense was
No,
the best
no.
offense.
Detroit's
Detroit
got
has
one
2
win.
wins.
It was in the-
2 wins.
They played
two
them
or
early.
one.
2.
They played
have
early.
2 wins.
When they had the top scoring
You
offense
know,
in the
everyone
league.
was all, let's go Detroit. But on the other hand, they lose and lose. And they were like, we're a great game. Yeah, okay. Moral victories for
We
Detroit.
run hard knocks.
But that is not a moral victory for Philadelphia.
At least we beat Dallas with their backup.
Oh, my God.
Same.
Oh. Damn, that hurt. Hurts.
Yes, but
But you're right, you did. And Dallas's defense is for real.
yes,
And you
Dallas
move the ball,
is for-
and Philadelphia did do their job against them. Now, the rest of the schedule, though, you got 2 wins that are quality.
Boy, if you look at what they got coming up, though, they got
It's
Houston
easy.
this week.
They are going to be the number 1 seed in the
I believe
in
so.
the NFC.
I believe so.
I mean, they got maybe 3 or 4 losses on their schedule.
They
Beyond
had
that,
the Giants twice. They still
they got to go to Dallas.
They got to go to Dallas.
They have Tennessee.
Yep, those are
These
the
tough
games.
Yeah.
Those are the games.
I think out of the remaining games, Tennessee will give them fits
Is
because
that at home? Or is
It's
that
in,
on the
I
road?
think it's in Philly.
it's in Philly.
Yeah.
That helps.
That
Yeah,
does help.
Tennessee can run the ball. They're just going to try to keep the ball away from them. They have a good defense, so it's going to come down to who has the ball last.
I'm just saying, with the schedule y'all have, 2-3 losses
At most,
at most.
yes.
I mean, that, and you guys are going to be the number 1 seed going in. But then on the other hand, once you get to the playoffs, what you did in the regular season don't matter.
Yeah.
And that means you got to go through. Even though San Francisco will have to go to Philadelphia,
Yeah.
I just don't see it. You
Yeah.
guys, Philadelphia
You know,
doesn't have the manpower.
So
Yeah, they're
if Philadelphia
deep.
gets the
They're
number
deep.
1 seed, then they get a bye the first week,
Yep.
and then they
Yes.
will probably get either San Francisco or maybe Minnesota
Well, who knows? Because
or
the Giants in Dallas might be coming out of there as
Could
both
very well
of the
be.
wild cards because the rest of the NFC is trash.
Yeah.
I think the NFC East gets both wild cards.
I expect
Probably, actually,
at this point.
I think the Seahawks will be in there too. I look for them to be in there the whole year. Really, there's 3 wild cards now instead of 2.
Sure.
So I think Seahawks will probably get the other one.
When
And I don't see anybody else in there like the NFC North getting anything, or the NFC South. I mean, that NFC South is a poor division.
It is. That division, a sub 500 team could win that division.
Probably very easily. Yep.
And
Very easily.
The Sea Chickens are winning their division right now, 5-3.
It won't last.
That ain't gonna last. Yeah.
No, not with the Niners coming out with what they got now. So,
The
and
Niners beat them 27-7, and the only reason why they scored 7 is because they blocked a field goal and returned it for a touchdown. That was the only reason they scored.
I'm just saying that the 49ers are 4-4, and they lost some games they weren't supposed to.
You're darn right they did.
Oh my
They should
God!
be 8-0.
They put themselves in a position that they shouldn't be in.
Yeah, it should be 7-1. They.
I'm just saying that they should be in the lead in their division and playing for home field advantage.
Yep.
But they're not. And now because of the Eagles' schedule, they're not playing for home field advantage.
Yeah.
no, they're not.
They're playing for a bye week.
Yes.
They're hoping for a bye week. But they got that's a big hill.
Yeah.
That's a big hill to crawl.
And when
Yep.
it comes to my Super Bowl picks, at this time,
Yep.
as much as I want to say Philly in the Super Bowl,
You know?
I gotta say San Francisco is probably who I'm
man.
gonna take out of the NFC, and then Kansas City. I think Kansas City gets
Kansas
Buffalo
City.
in the playoffs. So I think we could see a rematch of the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Yeah, it could very well be. My picks, I can't stand the Vikings, so I'm not going to pick them. I can't stand the Sea Chickens, so I'm not going to pick them.
Fucking hate the Sea Chickens.
I think the Eagles will be right there at the end, but I'm kind of with Brian. I think the 49ers, I tell you, they're going to get everybody healthy, and they're going to be tough to beat.
I agree.
Once they get everybody healthy, they're really going to be tough to beat. It's amazing when they had a chance to trade either DeForest Buckner or Eric Armstead, and they traded Buckner. I was like, oh my gosh, that was so stupid. But now you look at Armstead, and he's double covered every play because they can't handle him one-on-one. So when he's double covered every play, that frees up Warner, it frees up Greenlaw, it frees up Alshier. That makes them so tough when he's in there, getting that double team. So I too am going to go with San Francisco in the NFC. AFC, man, for my money, there's nobody better than Buffalo. I think Buffalo's going to get home field advantage. I don't really see them losing much more than 2 or 3 games for the year either. And Josh Allen, man, that guy just puts the ball right where he needs to every single time. And unless he would happen to get hurt, because he does run the ball a lot, Buffalo's going to be tough to take out.
I just think Kansas City lost to him in the regular season in a close game. We know from previous experience, Kansas City is never out of a game.
I agree.
Yeah,
that was
they
in
just-
Kansas City, though, and every one of Kansas City's playoff games with Mahomes has been in Kansas City. So having to go to Buffalo in January, that's going to be no easy task for them.
No.
Because Buffalo, that's going to be a raucous crowd. It's going to be cold. It's going to be not great weather. It's just not going to be an easy place for Kansas City to have to go play.
God, it hurts me to agree with the 49er pick. It does. So we're all going NFC 49ers. We are. But in the AFC, it's amazing that Kansas City seems not to ever. They got there, got beat, and then they missed it last year. And Cincinnati, of all teams, walked their way in. So I believe that another team will walk their way in. I'm picking a healthy Baltimore to show up at the Super Bowl.
Honestly, that's not a bad pick. You know, picking up Roquan Smith.
They made some late trades today. But they also have a beat up defense right now.
Yeah.
Once he gets healthy,
And J.K. Dobbins will be healthy here in a couple weeks. And
Lamar's playing for a contract.
yeah,
Yeah,
Devin
but do you
Duvernay's
trust
playing
Lamar?
good.
I do.
You trust Lamar in the playoffs?
I don't like Mahomes. I think he's a gimmick guy. You know, I don't trust Mahomes. I trust Allen way more than I trust Mahomes. But for some reason, the Bills, you know, I'm old. I saw them go to the Super Bowl 4 times and lose. They find a way not to finish.
True.
They just it's a
Last
curse.
year. Last year was a
Last
perfect
year.
example. They
I mean,
had Kansas City.
You know, if they would have won the flip, I still think they would have won that game. But on the other hand, they still had to go through Cincinnati.
They probably would have won that game if they'd have won the flip, but I mean, man, kick a squib kick.
Yeah.
Kick it into the end zone. I mean, make them take some time off the clock. I know they say, well, that's what they did this year, and look where that got them. Well, there was more time on the clock this year than there was last year.
Which is why they won that game. Because Kansas City scored too fast.
Yeah.
But look at the game they
Josh Allen
lost against
time.
Miami. Look at the game they lost against Miami.
You know, they fell behind early. They had a fumble and a tipped interception that caused them to fall behind. They just didn't catch up. That's a game they shouldn't have lost. And if you watch that game, that's a game you sat there and thought, they're not going to lose. Until there's 5 minutes left, you're like, oh, they're not catching up.
I just don't trust Buffalo to close it.
I
Right.
think
I just don't.
uh,
I agree.
I think the AFC is going to come down to some really good playoff games.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Really good playoff games.
Where the NFC, on the other hand, as we all picked 49ers to go, if there is a team that is going to break their curse and make a run, it's Dallas. They have the best defense. They have more weapons than anyone else. And if Prescott can ever get out of his own way, there's no reason that team isn't the best team in the NFC.
I don't think they have enough receiving power to
I don't know if they have enough receiving power or not either. Boy, Tony Pollard come along though and playing as well as he has lately.
He took his
It makes a huge difference.
he took Elliott's job.
Elliott's
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Elliott's
Yeah.
out.
I think
Elliott
Elliott's
is
out, too.
give Pollard a break.
Yeah, exactly.
Going forward.
Exactly.
All right, let's go into our picks. Unless anyone got anything to add on the best teams?
You know, and I'm just going to go revert back to Philly here a little bit. I think I'll play Homer. I don't care. This is the first time Philly's been undefeated this deep into the season since 2004, and that was the year that they went and played the Patriots in the Super Bowl and lost. If they can
Andy
keep,
Reid was their coach.
yeah, Andy Reid was their coach.
Andy Reid was their coach. But when they were back in 04, they were good the year before. They had a good schedule.
Yes, they made it to 3 NFC Championship games in a row.
Right. So this, though, is a false undefeated. This is by record.
Can it be a false undefeated?
Absolutely.
I think the NFL, if you're undefeated,
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It is tough.
And
but
this is
they
what's
still
gonna,
haven't played any of the elites.
This is what's going to help Philly is their depth at defensive line. They are rotating guys.
Robert Quinn was a huge pickup.
That
for
was
them.
huge for him. And if I'm going to believe in Hurts, as long as he can play clean like he has been, and they can run the ball like they have been, they're going to be tough.
Yeah,
They're going to be tough.
I tell you, Hurts scares me a little bit. I mean, he got benched in the national championship for a reason,
Yes, he did.
and
But still, a major upgrade from Wentz. Major upgrade.
yeah,
That's for another week.
that is for another week. I think getting in the playoffs, though, like I said, everybody's going to turn it up a notch, and it'll be a little harder for him to find some open receivers. Maybe they still might be there. I don't know, but I think it's going to be a lot tougher for him than it is now.
It will get tough. So,
All
We're
right,
getting on to next week's picks.
yep.
let's go on to next
Let's go.
week's picks.
We agree on a lot of games.
We do agree on a lot of games.
But there's a lot of bye weeks. You know, a lot of the good teams aren't playing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Let's go over the teams we agree on, and we're not going to talk about these too much because they're all pretty
pretty straightforward.
Cut.
basic
Right.
games. Yeah.
Right.
We all agree Philadelphia will beat Houston on Thursday night.
Yeah.
We all agree that Miami will beat Chicago.
Yeah.
We all agree that Cincinnati will beat Carolina.
And that's a big game.
Well, and
Like,
Detroit,
we all agree on it with Cincinnati that they're coming off a loss that they shouldn't have had, and Carolina's playing tough.
Detroit does only have one win, by the way. And we all
Yes, it
agree
was.
that Green Bay will beat Detroit. We all agree that the Patriots will beat Indianapolis. Indianapolis, man, they just fired their offensive coordinator now. That team's in bad shape.
It is.
The thing is, how long do you hold on to Frank Reich?
Yeah.
It's
I know it.
It's just he hasn't got it done. So.
Yeah. We all agree that Buffalo will beat the New York Jets. We all agree that the Minnesota Vikings will beat the Washington Commanders. We all agree that Seattle will beat Arizona. We all agree that Kansas City will beat Tennessee, which I think that's going to be a little bit tougher game than what we thought. Kansas City's favored by like 12.5 points, and to
That's
me,
too
that's
much.
just way too many.
Way
Too
too
much.
many. That'll
You
be
know,
a closer game.
I mean, when you got Derrick Henry running the ball, if he gets hot,
If you're
it's tough to
betting on
stop.
it, you should take Tennessee in the points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
But on the other hand, at the end of the day, Kansas City's going to win that game.
I think so too.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously. And then we all agree that Baltimore will beat New Orleans.
Yes.
But we know how I feel. I think Baltimore's making a run from here on out.
Yeah. We had 3 games that we disagreed on. One was the Las Vegas Raiders versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Brian and I took the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jeff took the Las Vegas Raiders. Jeff, why'd you take the Raiders? We just talked about what a dumpster fire
We
they are.
did. But then on the other hand, Carolina doesn't stop the run real well. Jacobs.
Well, they're not playing Carolina. They're playing Jacksonville, so that helps.
Jacksonville and Las Vegas.
Let me put my glasses back on. Jacksonville also don't stop the run very well.
The thing is, Jacksonville should have won that game. They came down to the last play. They were right there. It just.
I mean, Jacksonville should have won that game. They should have beat the Giants.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacksonville, they're 2-6, could have a way better record than 2-6.
They could.
They're kind of like Atlanta. They're in every game.
Yeah.
Really. They're just a tough.
I just think the Raiders got too much offensive power. I just can't believe that
They
they're
just
in
got
shape.
blanked.
I get that. I get that.
They didn't
But-
score a point against New Orleans.
And
New
they're good-
Orleans is not a very good team.
And that's the thing about the NFL. These are professionals. So when they get beat down, unlike in college, they come back and they perform.
You know what Belichick say a couple years ago? On to Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Raiders the
absolutely.
same way. On to Jacksonville.
On to Jacksonville, and they're not going to look back at what happened last week in New Orleans.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it could very well be. I mean, the Raiders are a better team than a 2-5 record.
Yes.
That's-
absolutely.
Yeah.
They whatever's holding them back, it can't keep going on.
Yeah, they got Josh Jacobs in the backfield. Derek Carr. Everybody says he's a top 10 quarterback. I don't know if he is necessarily or not, but he's got a lot of good receivers between Adams and Waller and Hunter Renfro, and he's got guys that can catch the ball.
Yes.
He's got a good offensive line.
Yep.
He gets time.
Yeah,
Against good teams, he gets time.
yeah,
And Jacobs, I just think the Raiders win that game.
yeah.
I mean, we're talking about 2 dumpster fires anyway.
Yeah.
We are talking about 2 dumpster fires.
I mean, those teams, if anyone makes the playoffs out of those teams, it'll be a miracle.
it'll be a shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, moving on. Los Angeles Chargers and Atlanta Falcons. Jeff and Brian both took the Los Angeles Chargers. I took the Atlanta Falcons.
Why?
Tell you why I took the Atlanta Falcons. Because Atlanta has been in every game this year. They're playing at home, and I just think that after last week when they got by Carolina the way they did, I think they're going to be a little more focused and they're going to be raring to go. And I think
This
that
is Red Bull and vodka. I think you've been drinking a little more than I have.
settle down. I think Atlanta's got a pretty decent running game. They got a good defense. They got a good offensive line. I just think they're going to beat the Chargers.
But then on the other hand, look at the Chargers. They're better than their record too, with Herbert and everybody else that they got going on there, and good defense. Their coach is holding them back.
Yes, he's coaching for his
But
job.
but talent wise, they shouldn't be there.
Yeah, you're right. They had a lot of talent. Like I said, with Herbert and Austin Eckler and
I
Mike
mean,
Williams and
Not us.
Keenan
But,
Allen.
the experts had them second in division and challenging Kansas City
Yeah.
before the year started.
But do you know what I'm finding out? This is a big thing for the Chargers.
Well,
they
they are
do this
second in the division.
all the time. They
And they
have
still
all
are
this
second.
talent. They can never put it together.
Yeah.
Even go back to the Rivers days. They had all this talent. They would get some momentum going, and then they would fall apart when it came
Yeah.
to the playoffs. And it's just how the Chargers
you know,
are.
the last
I
time
think,
they were good when they had that shithead John Hairball as their quarterback. That was the last time they were good.
that was Jim, not John.
Jim? That was Jim.
Jim.
You're right. That was Jim.
And,
All the hairballs are bad.
Of course, now they got J.C. Jackson's done for the year. That's going to hurt their defense a little bit. He was probably their best cornerback they had. I know he was their best cornerback that they had. So that's going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
And now they're going to have to go against Drake London and Kyle Pitts. And I think it'll be an easy game for them. Contrary to what these two guys think.
Yeah. I just don't trust. I just don't think Atlanta's quite there yet.
Brian and I say for the first time this year, Denny's wrong.
It ain't going to happen very often. And we'll see come next week if I'm wrong or not.
Yeah, once we go over our records, Denny is way out in front. But we only got one weekend.
All right, last game that we disagree on. Los Angeles Rams at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jeff and I both took Tampa Bay. Brian took the Rams. Brian, why'd you take the Rams?
I just think Tampa's bad. Tampa is a bad football team. They
You
can't
just hate Brady.
No, he
You
should have stayed
hate it.
retired. He should have stayed retired. However, they're just a bad football team all the way around.
Really? You hate Brady?
No, I don't
Yeah,
hate Brady.
yes, you do.
He's the GOAT. Everybody knows it. As much as you don't want to admit it, he's the GOAT.
I always wanted to admit it.
Yeah, well,
I
You know you're a homer, so-
I accepted Brady was the GOAT 3 Super Bowls ago.
but I just think
Three
that
Super
I think Tampa's just both of them are bad. Both of them are bad teams. I just think that if I had to give the edge to one, I'm giving it to the Rams.
To me, that game comes down to defense. Tampa's got a better defense, and running game. Tampa's definitely got a better running game.
And you're going to trust Matt Stafford over Tom Brady?
Who do you think will win in the foot race, Matt Stafford or Tom Brady?
Oh my God, he's going to have to run for his life. So but I don't think Brady's going to have to run that much.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a heck of a race.
Yeah, they're both a little slow.
Not like you versus me. Who will win?
I'd win that.
You probably would. I'm not going to deny that. You probably would.
I mean, you're using a cane. Come on.
yeah. Yeah, if I can have the key, I could be a little tougher.
I'm just saying, I'm
whack
fast
his back of
walking.
me.
I'm not running. I'm
he's
fast
just gonna
walking.
trip you, Jeff.
Get ahead of me, I'm just going to whack him in the back of the knee.
Oh my.
All right. That's all we got to talk about for tonight. We hope you enjoyed our show. As at the end of the day, we are the Couch Coaches.
And we know sports.